Hello you and welcome to the last Daily Rundown of the week with me, Dan Morfitt. Thank you for watching Channel 7. This is the Daily Rundown where we look at all of the day's big stories and some of the little ones too. Tonight we'll be discussing good blood, closed shops and plastic cash. And later on we'll be showing an interview with rock star, journalist and DJ Tom Robinson on why he was glad to be gay. But first, let's welcome tonight's guests who will supply the Daily Rundown with insight and attitude. Word. She's our resident poet, comic and pop culture party warrior. It's the effervescence, Maddie Howard.
Effervescent?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is that nice?
That's lovely.
You can slip us a plastic fiver later. And also welcome back to activist, documentary maker and TV man from LGBT TV, Jacob Braden.
Hello.
Thank you for coming back, sir.
My pleasure.
How are you tonight?
Pretty good, thank you, yeah.
Yeah. Got a bit of a tan on, I'm liking it.
Sunday, yeah.
And don't forget, you can get involved with the show as well. We're as interactive as you like. Joining the conversation on Twitter at The Daily Rundown, or at the very least, give us a follow. And we might even follow you back. So please, be really interesting. Right, now to look at our first interesting story. Northern Ireland's lifetime ban on gay men donating blood is to be lifted. It will come into effect on September the 1st. A ban on gay men donating blood was brought in across the UK during the 1980s with the AIDS crisis, but was lifted in England, Scotland and Wales in November 2011. This means that gay and bisexual men can give blood 1 year after their last sexual contact with another man. Now, Jacob, what do you think about this? Is it good that Northern Ireland are finally coming with the times, or that the fact that the whole UK is still a bit backwards with this?
It's good that Northern Ireland are moving ahead. They're still very discriminatory towards like LGBT issues. It's a indicator that sometimes devolution isn't a good thing, because you can get a political party in power in a regional area of the UK that isn't very friendly.
Yeah, separation of policy.
Yeah, it's
from the rest.
great that they're doing it, but it's still completely ridiculous that you've got to wait a year to give blood. I wanted to give blood myself, and because I had sex in the last year, so I couldn't.
So you basically got to be celibate to do something good.
You've got to be celibate, you can't have sex. And you've got to commit to a year to do that. Now, at a time when they want blood from people, we're always asking, we need blood, please come and donate blood. And there are people who want to give blood, and they're saying, well, you can give blood, but if you don't have certain types of sex for a year.
Thing is though, I want to ask you as a gay man, do you have a calendar where you put a big red cross on going, last day I've had sex, please let's not get lucky for an entire 365 days?
If you have a sex life like mine, you do. But it is that sad, I'm afraid. But I would imagine for a lot of gay men, it would be very problematic, because you're asking people to stop having certain types of sex. Well, there's certain things you can have sexually, but most of the things, if you have sex that way, you can't give blood.
It all sounds very...
So it's very vanilla sex, I would say, extremely vanilla sex. And it's a big ask. It's saying you've got to give up something very enjoyable for a year in order to do an act of kindness and give blood to people who need it.
Well, I'll ask you later on what pistachio ice cream sex is like, but Maddie, with this, the fact that Northern Ireland are going in the right direction, surely that's good then for the rest of the UK to maybe then change their overall policy on blood in the future?
Yeah, it's definitely a step in the right direction, because it was almost entirely based on prejudice anyway, and it is nonsensical. And I had a boyfriend who was bisexual, and he was so passionate about this, because I think they tried to change it before, or there was a campaign to change it like a few years ago. I think I'm right in saying that.
Well, it's now legal for gay men, like Jacob said, if they haven't had a sex for a year since 2011, but that took a long time in coming.
I mean, it's just very strange, and that they want to stop people from having sex for a year before they give blood, even if it's protected.
Well, that's the weird thing about the law as it stands. If you're gay or bisexual, of any gender, you're not allowed to give blood unless you've not had sex for a year. However, on the other side, you can have unprotected sex as heterosexuals and give blood.
Well, exactly.
Is it gay men or is it?
It's gay and bisexual men, but firstly you have to prove it. So how can I could lie.
Yeah, you could say I had sex 370 days ago.
Sex with 10 men at the weekend, and then go away on Monday and give blood and lie about it and say I haven't.
And they'll screen it.
They'll screen it anyway. That's the point. They screen the blood anyway.
Yeah.
So it's about I don't know. It took a long time to argue to do away with a ban completely. We wanted it to be done away with completely, not this year.
Why do you think
thing.
this ban is still in place though? Because like you said, the National Blood Service is in dire need of blood for transfusions. Also, this country needs more than anything, and I believe we import platelets.
Yeah.
So for specialist treatments and individuals that need that, I've got friends that give platelets and they get regularly called in. Something like this surely hinders a section of the population who are desperate to want to help other people.
It's all about nice guidelines and NHS guidelines, and they have to be, as I understand it, quite strict and put these parameters in for their own safeguarding reasons, for that off chance that a gay man with HIV or someone with HIV passes blood on in some 1 in a billion chance event.
I believe this ban came in before we had the awful situation where some blood was taken in the 80s.
Yeah.
It was HIV positive. They didn't have the correct screening process. And there was a massive, especially amongst haemophiliacs,
Yeah, it was.
where they were transfused with HIV blood.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily from a gay donor.
No, it weren't. It could have been an intravenous drug user or anyone else. But the point is that this is discriminatory.
Is it just pure fear?
People
then?
from West Africa as well. It's not just gay men. It's people who come from West
I can
Africa.
sort of
places
understand
like
the
that.
West Africa
And
thing
a
with
few other
Ebola,
groups.
and probably at the
Yeah.
moment with Zika being
Yeah.
in South America and possibly.
And there's a few
North
other
Africa.
groups included as well. So it isn't purely gay and bisexual men. It's because, like I said, I went to give blood and it had a whole list of things like you can't give blood if you had a tattoo in the last 4 months as well.
But right, let's look at.
So there's all these parameters on it, and I think if they want people to give blood, they need to find better ways of allowing people to give blood.
Let's look at this hypothetical then, Maddie. Say there's a gay couple, they've been together 20 years, they're monogamous with each other. They're not allowed to give blood or platelets to the National Blood Service because they have an active sex life. How is that possibly right when, at the same time, a man who has many regular heterosexual partners, unprotected throughout the year, can give blood free and easy? How is that right?
Well, as you say, it's based on, well, as you implied, it's based on prejudice, fear and prejudice, and it's completely not right, of course. And I think the change will help to lead the way for people in general to not believe that, stereotypes about gay men and HIV. And, and if people think that only gay people can get HIV, then they're very, very ignorant.
Well, it's shown that HIV figures coming out, the biggest group under attack from HIV is the elderly who don't think they can get pregnant anymore and don't think they need condoms anymore. And it's the elderly heterosexual population that are growing in numbers with HIV.
And people who have come out of 30-year marriages.
Yeah.
Who are suddenly out there, and you go out socialising, you see a lot more 60-year-olds and older people out socialising, having a good time. So they're starting to have sex lives again.
Yeah, there's lots of pensioners having a very, very good time, but
it's not fair, is it?
No, but they're not being safe with it. So it's good. I think we've all really said that it's good that Northern Ireland are coming on par with the rest of the country. But this next obstacle, how far do you think the LGBT community have got to go to get this next restriction taken away?
Well, we're currently battling for PrEP to be available in the NHS, and sadly they've decided today they're not going to allow that to happen. So we've got a lot of battles within kind of getting greater health equality for lesbian and gay people, and I think it'll take some time. I think really you need stronger lead from the government and people in power to say you've got to stop doing this, and we need to find a better way, a better way of dealing with this whole situation. Because it's tattoos as well. If you had a tattoo in the last 4 months, you can't give blood because you might have something, which makes sense, but surely there's a better way of doing it.
So we've got, like you said, we've got the West Africa question, we've got the Zika question at the moment, and the tattoos. They're all relevant but non-discriminatory. But the law as it stands at the moment,
it's very discriminatory.
If you're a gay man...
They need to change it, and they make certain noises, but they don't seem to go for the full way.
Well,
I
nice
mean-
are quite sometimes they're slow to react, but they
Yeah.
can change their
Yeah.
minds. The National
They can,
Institute of
yes,
Clinical Excellence.
they can, indeed they do.
So-
But I hope that other equality follows in Northern Ireland, because they just threw out marriage equality, I think, for a fifth time.
Yeah, I believe in Northern Ireland,
Yeah.
you can still have a civil partnership, but you can't have full
Yeah,
gay
yeah,
marriage yet.
yeah.
Yet it's legal in England, Wales, and Scotland,
Yes,
uh,
but not Northern Ireland, yeah.
but not Northern Ireland. I think, for want of a better phrase, for all the troubles that's happened in Northern Ireland over the last few years, they're catching up pretty quickly with the rest of the country. So
Yeah,
what we've seen today has been a good step forward in the
it
right
is
direction.
a good step forward and it should be applauded, but there's more journey to go.
I have also come up with a business idea for gay men, though, and I'll call it the abstinence diary.
Okay, yeah,
So it is that thing where on the day that you've just had sex,
yeah,
you buy a diary,
okay,
you don't use it for exactly a year, and then when you want to give blood, you just walk in with a blank diary,
okay.
and you go, there you go, I've had no
I think
sex
you'll
for a
probably
year.
sell about 20 of those. Maybe 40, I don't know, but
I thought that was a good idea. I was going to say you and I were going to
It's
go
a
on The
very-
Apprentice. That was a cracking idea, but you've ruined it, Jacob.
I'm
You've
sorry.
ruined it. Right, time for a quick break now, but the three of us will be back in just a couple of minutes to discuss more of the news on the Daily Rundown, including the end of an era for a high street stalwart. Right, get a brew on, and we'll see you in just a couple of minutes.